Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the channel. I am aTone. This is aToneTarot. Sagittarius, you were tuned in for the topic of new levels, new devils. I will be breaking down the entire year of 2026 in thirds, Sag. So what I will be doing is pulling 5 cards from the tarot to open up 2026 to see what new sets of challenges you will be encountering in the opening of 2026 from January to March. I'll then move on via this character oracle deck to get into the second quarter of 2026 and those challenges that you might encounter from April to the end of June. I'll move on to the Kipper for the third quarter of 2026, pulling 5 cards to see what challenges my Sages are going to face from July to the end of September. And then I will close out your message using this inner wisdom deck, Sag. Also pulling 5 cards to see what the close of 2026 looks like for my Sagittarius collective in relation to new levels, new devils. So, Sag, without further ado, let's get up into your message. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's see what my Sagittarius collective needs to be aware of as it relates to any new sets of challenges that you will be encountering opening up 2026. To my new viewers, welcome to the channel. To my returning viewers, welcome back. I greatly appreciate you guys. And if you could, please go ahead and smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate it, Sag. So let's get up into this message. Let's see, for the first 3 months of 2026, from January to March, what sets of challenges do my Sagittarius need to be on the lookout for? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. All right, Sag, I hope all is well with you guys. You know, we are going into our new year as it applies to a lot of the world, but not everyone, me included. I don't necessarily count January as the new year. I open my year up in the springtime. So when the spring equinox happens, that is the new year for me. But just going by the calendar, we're going to see in the months of January to March, however you classify it, Sag, what you need to be on the lookout for as it relates to new levels, new devils. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's get up into it, Sag. 5 cards, please. Spirit, for my Sagittarius collective. What do my Sages need to be aware of? My nose is running. Forgive me, Sag. The slow pull of this message is giving, I don't want no problems. I want nothing but favor, aTone. Favor, grace, mercy, blessings. The Sag ain't playing. Let's see. Four more cards, please, Spirit. Yeah, the moon is here. Definitely some hidden messages, if you will. Like, the Sag doesn't want anybody to know what they got going on, what they got cooking, it seems. That's what I'm picking up on. Real G's move in silence type energy is what I'm getting. But let's see. 2 more cards, please, for my Sag. Yeah. One more card. Spirit for my Sagittarius collective. One more card. All right, Sag. So as it relates to your message for the first 3 months of 2026 and new levels, new devils, new sets of challenges you may be facing opening up 2026, you receive the Six of Pentacles, the Moon, the Eight of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Eight of Swords. So it is kind of what I was channeling. The challenge may become keeping quiet, and not that you, Sag, are going to have an issue with keeping quiet. It really feels like a lot of people are going to be asking you a lot of questions, and you're going to be working very hard to remain poised, steadfast, 10 toes down, feet planted to the floor, without much direction of right or wrong, just knowing in your spirit that this is the direction you need to go, and stepping out on faith to some degree. And that may seem very scary for my Sagittarius, but you almost know it's like it's being hardwired in your spirit to move forward in a very deliberate, intentional, systematic type of way. And you do not want anyone getting in your way of whatever plans that you have. So it looks and feels as if there's a line or a balance that my Sagittarius will have to walk, a tightrope, if you will, where you need to appear like a lamb, or a lick, or maybe even a sucker. You may need to appear that way, but really what's behind that appearance, reputation, whatever false narrative you are deliberately putting out there, Sag, because that's what this feels like. You're deliberately wanting people to think not less of you, but that you have less. You ain't got it. Oh, I don't got the time. Oh, I don't got the money. Oh, I don't got the energy. But really you do. You're reserving it and redirecting it in another area of your life. And drawing up these detailed plans in secret or in silence is causing you a little bit of angst, because you're afraid of, potentially what's the outcome of all of this going to be, and not afraid in the sense that it's going to fail. This is a fear of even success I'm picking up on. Like, you like, oh man, this could be big, and depending on how big this is, it's going to garner a certain amount of attention, fellowship, following, a crowd to some degree. And what people thought you were versus what they find out you are becoming, Sag, is going to be a mind fuck for some people, right? And maybe even to some degree yourself, you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe how things are unfolding, but I'm going to continue to march and towards the finish line of my mission. Because there's a mission here. There's a well laid out plan that my Sag has, and you guys are, like I said, keeping it close to your chest. You're not trying to be deceitful. You're not trying to be manipulative. You just want to work your plan and mind your business. You don't want to bother nobody, and you don't want nobody bothering you. You want a certain amount of isolation, privacy, psychological safety, and grace from those around you who may be accustomed to pulling from you in one capacity or another, whether it be someone or people always coming to seek out your advice, someone or a group of people always coming to seek out a loan, a babysitter, you know, fill in my shift for me, whatever the case may be. The Sag at one point was the go-to individual, right? And the Sag is redirecting their energy to themselves in such a way. And you're wanting grace and favor and understanding from those that you have lent to in the past. So that might be a bit of a struggle, you wanting to conceal, hide, and withdraw, right? And with what you're working on with this Eight of Pentacles being here, synchronized or aligned with the Eight of Swords, it creates a bit of anxiety, but you understand the potential this plan has with the Emperor being here. It is the difference between your success and failure, Sag, but you're approaching it with a certain amount of humility, fear, and just hope and prayer that it all flushes out to be as elaborate and beneficial to you as you intend it to be. Yeah. So the challenge may be just trusting yourself and trusting the process, being patient, and also wanting and receiving a certain amount of, like I said, grace back from those that you've given it to in the past. It may be a bit of a challenge that you don't see it back in return. And it's okay. It's okay. What you do is, Sag, you just help people understand where your life is currently sitting now by way of redirecting them to wherever you want them to be through boundaries. You set up boundaries. You be honest, direct, but not disrespectful. Like, look, no, I don't have time for that. And we used to do that, but I can't do that today. I got something over here cooking that I need to take care of, and I hope you understand, but holla at me. I'll get with you the next time. I can't do it today. I got work to do. My Sages are on a mission to accomplish something in 2026, and you understand the dedication, commitment, and time that it will take for you to do this. And with these eights being here, I just got the message that the first 8 months of 2026 are going to be you locked in, really moving towards something that you laid a plan around and you marching toward that. Like 2025 was the construction of the plan itself, the blueprints being designed, right? Very detailed, very intricate, very thought out from beginning to end. You work through every possible scenario that could crop up and pop up as a problem. You game planned and created, what do you call them? Backups to the backups, right? You found ways to circumvent the plan if you had to create a safety net if the bottom falls out of this plan. Like, you have thought this through in so many different ways, Sag, and you're tired of sitting on it now. It's time to act. It's time to move. It's time to demonstrate and put the rubber to the road as it relates to this plan, whatever this is. And you have been putting this thing to the back burner for some time, whether it be because your life was not set up to do that. Like, maybe you had young kids and you knew, like, I can't dedicate my time, energy, money to this thing that I know I need to do for my legacy, but I'm gonna get to it, right? And while you were marching towards or working towards whatever you had to actively support in 2025, during that time, you were dreaming and scheming and plotting and planning for what the next phase would look like once this phase was complete. And you're ready. You're ready to go. So the challenge becomes two things. Fear, you know what I mean? Fear of, all right, now I done thought this through and I've done everything I need to do to get this off the ground. I've prayed, I've meditated, I've been faithful, I've been consistent. And I know once this thing hits and once I get it moving and rocking, I'm probably going to be in a position of power, leadership, authority. And when I'm in that position, what am I going to do with it? Will I be faithful? Will I be honest? Will I be true to myself? Like, I'm picking up on a Sag that's really digging deep as it relates to the future, not just by way of the benefits that will come of the hard work, dedication, and consistency that we are going to see from my Sag collective in 2026. It is also the worry of that the responsibility of what comes with this authority, this accomplishment, right? There's a bit of that there, right? And you also have the second thing, which is concealing it, right? You don't want people trying to jump on your bandwagon. You don't want people trying to offer support or offer suggestions on how you can make the plan better. You don't want to hear none of that. You like, look, this is my plan and I'm gonna work it how I work it. Get out my way. So that is the first quarter of 2026 for my Sagittarius collective. Let's take a look at the second quarter from April to the end of June to see what sets of challenges my Sagittarius will need to be on the lookout for in 2026. All right, Sag, let's get up into this second quarter and see what you need to know. New levels, new devils. And if this is not your message and it does not apply, let it fly, right? This is predictive, so it's going to take some time to materialize. Or again, you may already be aware of what I'm talking about in relation to this plan. But, let's see how the year unfolds for my Sag. All right, Spirit, let's see what's going on with that second quarter of 2026 from April to the end of June for my Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Five cards, please, Spirit. 5 cards for my Sag. Two more cards, please. 2 more cards. One more card. One more card for my Sagittarius. All right, Sag. So for the second quarter of 2026, you receive repairman, homeless, challenger, writer, and bard. So as it relates to the second quarter and some challenges that may pop up for you guys in 2026, this is given that somebody that you're, I don't want to say responsible for, but somebody that has a very close connection to you, not in the most lovey-dovey way. It's just that this person is connected to you and you're responsible for them some way, somehow. There's someone who falls on hard times who throws a monkey wrench in your plan. Like, you have to come to the aid of someone else that slows down your plan and what you're marching towards in the first, like I said, 8 months of 2026. I see like you really pushing, working, putting some things in motion for the first 8 months of 2026 around a specific plan or goal that you have. But somebody, and I'm not going to say they get evicted, but someone may need to come live with you. Someone may lose their job. Someone may need you to help them not become homeless. And again, I'm just creating an analogy or an example for you to be able to understand what message you need to receive for this, Sag. But someone creates a challenge for you that kind of slows you down, that causes you to have to rewrite some of the details of your well thought out plan. And you're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to get creative around how you adjust and pivot in the second quarter of 2026. Because someone creates a challenge for you where, and it may even be that you don't believe them when they come to you with this sad story or their hat in their hand shaking a cup towards you, Sag. You know what I mean? You might suspect that this person is telling a lie, or they're not being fully honest with how they might have wound up in this situation that they now need your assistance. And you are faced with the challenge of, do I help said person, or do I become selfish and say, no, you figure it out. I have things to do. So the challenge may be that someone important to you, let's say, and it could be a sibling, it could be a parent, it could be a significant other, it could be a child, and you are having to decide whether you choose this person and helping them and putting what you have embarked on in the first quarter of 2026 as it relates to your plan and put that on pause to help them, or do you say, no, I committed to myself and you're going to have to figure it out? And that could be a challenge for you, Sag, because your heart in relation to this person will not allow you to let them fall for whatever reason. Whether they're lying or being 100% honest with you, you understand that their pride, ego, or whatever their motives are for lying, you're like, okay, whatever. Because you have writer and bard here. These are someone who knows how to craft a message to make it sound real good, to paint themselves as the victim. And in doing so, it creates a challenge for you to move forward with regards to your plan that you committed yourself to marching towards opening up 2026. So there's like a crossroads moment where you may have to get a little creative, Sag, around how you approach this problem. Because what you may find is that you can help this person and continue to move forward in your plan, as well as, you could do both, but your plan may not move at the momentum you originally thought it would, because now you have to assist. Or you decide to say, no, I'm sticking to my commitments and I'm moving forward. And whoever has issues, they're going to have to figure it out. That's their struggle. That's their path. That's their cross to bear. Lift with your knees. I got some good advice for you, but I got no more than that. Because I've suffered my set of challenges and I've been set back in such a way in my life. And I feel that I need to stay on schedule. And if I don't, I will never accomplish or get started or complete whatever I set in my heart to do as it relates to creating longevity around my legacy. So it is a very interesting spot to be in, Sagittarius, when you have to choose between yourself and people that you love and assisting them, right? And knowing, because people will judge you for that, right? Like, Sag could have helped me. They were in the position to help me, and they decided not to. They made a conscious decision not to help me. And you can imagine what type of resentment can develop in people when things like that occur. But again, and I've had to learn this in one capacity or another, and it doesn't feel good, but it is what it is. Like, you cannot always jump in front of the bullet for someone else. You know what I mean? They might have to take that shot and that hit in order for them to learn resilience, in order for them to learn how to lift with their knees, in order for them to even appreciate the blessings that are coming around the corner from that hardship that they suffered through. You know, it's not for us to always be the saving grace of another individual, because there could be a lesson in the struggle and the trauma for that other person, and you just may need to offer support from the sidelines, but not jumping in the game and helping them run the ball down the field. Yeah, Sag, so be aware of that. You know, all we have is right now, and if you made a promise to yourself, try and find a way to keep that promise, is my recommendation to you, Sag, not a requirement. And again, if this is not your message, if it don't apply, let it fly. But we're going to get up into the third quarter as it relates to my Sagittarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, for the challenges or new levels, new devils that my Sagittarius collective will have to face in 2026. And if you could please, and haven't done so already, go ahead, Sag, and smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl will greatly appreciate it. Let's get up into this third quarter and see what's going on. All right, Spirit, 5 cards for my Sag, please. New levels, new devils. Third quarter 2026. One more card, please. One more card. And there it is. All right. So for the third quarter, my Sag is received toil and labor, community, official person, imprisonment, and mature man. So again, this is what I was kind of saying as it relates to your challenge from the second quarter going into the third quarter, which is represented from July to the end of September. There's going to be some hard work, some very hard work around supporting your village, your community, someone who's official in your network. Sag, remember, I said this is someone who you have a responsibility to in one form, fashion, or another. It could be a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a brother, a significant other. But it's someone who holds an official position in your life. You know what I mean? One way or another. However they got that title, you didn't have control of it to some degree. And significant other is the only title on that list that my Sag collective has control over. So they're at the bottom of this list. This really feels like family, child, even a boss. You know what I mean? Someone you're tied to, that you have a responsibility to. You're like, damn it, I can't disregard what this person is saying, going through, telling me. You feel stuck. You feel tied to this person or this situation that is negatively impacting this person, and you have to do some laborious work to help get them out of the situation, support them through something, and it is going to take maybe not just you, but you and other family members to support this individual. It could be you, Sag, coming together with other family members. This is given family meeting. With the community being here in toil and labor, a family meeting to figure out what schedule we're going to put together to ensure that Uncle Bob is taken care of. You may have to divide up the responsibility amongst family to help support this aunt, uncle, father, whatever. And you have to do it collectively. And your family, friends, or whoever are looking at you like, Sag, we are all collectively signing up to do this thing. You need to clock your hours or get on board. And they want you to fall in line. And you like, nah, I got other plans. I got other things that I was trying to do that I don't have time for this. But unfortunately, Sag is like, you got to make time for this, because whatever it is, you are bound to it by way of history, genealogy, circumstance, all of the above, right? All of that is going on, and you kind of feel like, man, this is not what I had planned for my summer of 2026, because this is representing the third quarter. So as it relates to challenges, it's things that are outside of your control, Sag. It feels like that are requiring you to do things that are outside of the plan you originally laid for your March and what you wanted to do 2026. I'm really picking up on a Sag collective that at the top of the year, they decided to be selfish and say, you know what? I paid my dues. I put my time in. I've cooked. I've cleaned. I've put the money up. I've been the driver. I've been the silent one. I've been the promoter. I've been the cheerleader. You were everything to everybody in this community in the past. And you say, you know what? I'm tired of doing that. And I'm going to do something different in 2026. And unfortunately, life has a way of saying, nope, not yet. Not yet. You cannot lend this time to yourself just yet, because someone else needs you. And I'm really picking up again on a Sag just saying, you know what? Yeah, this person needs me, but I need me too. And I'm sticking to my guns. And if I have to work 2-3 times the amount to make both things happen, I will. Meaning I will do what I need to do and lend to this family or to this work situation, whatever the case may be, to keep it afloat. But I'm also going to stay up late to make sure that I commit to myself like I originally planned to do. I'm really picking up on a Sag that is not happy that they have to divide themselves in half like that, but they will. They willing to put in the work, but it's going to be a bit of an endurance race for you. By the third quarter of 2026, you could be tired and running out of gas when you're like, no, I need to get through this. And you're just going to have to keep pushing, Sag, because it's going to be a little more daunting than maybe you originally planned. Because remember, I said in that first spread with that Emperor, he had that blueprint or that plan or that strategy laid down at his feet. He knew what it was. He wasn't even looking at it. He knew it in and out, right? And again, this is something that my Sagittarius collective have been working on and working towards for maybe more than a year. It could have been something that you've set in your heart now for more than 2 years. And you're like, you know what? Time has gone by and I have not got into this thing that I keep saying I'm going to get to every single year, but something pops up every single year. And you're like, you know what? This year ain't no different. And I'll be damned. I'd be damned if I'm going to allow another circumstance or another situation set me back. I'm going to just have to be tired. I'm going to have to be tired. I'm going to have to be cranky. And whoever got to deal with it, got to deal with it because I'm going. That's the energy I'm picking up on. A certain amount of endurance and push in 2026 that a lot of people around my Sagittarius may not be accustomed to seeing. Now, my Sagittarius are tough. But they're like a silent tough. They don't usually get, from the Sagittarius I know, they don't get rowdy. You know what I mean? Their presence is enough. Like, they either is or ain't. They there or they not. Like, you kind of know. But this is a year of a Sagittarius kind of roaring, flexing, and really stating and putting it out there. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I got 20 minutes for that. So you better hurry up. Being very direct, being very poignant, being very piercing in such a way that they never had before. Because again, Sagittarius ain't never had a problem with reading a person, right? But that's like by the time someone has gotten the Sag to a point that they have to like run the tape. Nah, it ain't no tape with the Sag. It's right there on the spot. You getting it real time with them in 2026. So, make sure for those cross watchers out there, make sure that when you approach Sag, you have all of the details of the plan laid out. You know how much time you need from the Sag. You know how much money you need from this Sag. You know whether or not you just want to vent. And Sag, I just need you to listen. And I need your ear for 10 minutes, Sag. And you better be on it and not going past a minute more than 10 minutes with that Sag, because they're going to be very acute with their time, energy, and money in 2026. All right, let's see what the close of 2026 has in store for my Sagittarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. All right, Sag, what we got closing out 2026 as it relates to some challenges, new levels, new devils for my Sagittarius collective. Two more cards. Spirit, please, for my Sag. One more card. And there it is. Here we go, Sag. Now, again, this is a continuation of the message that started us out, right? And closing out 2026 from October to the end of December as it relates to some challenges. My Sagittarius are going to maybe encounter, you receive support, perspective. It's your time, empowered, refresh, recharge. Remember, these are the challenges, right? So having to support a situation or group or thing that just may not be in the grand scheme of how you had laid your plans out is surfacing as a challenge. The perspective of other people around you and how they feel like you should be operating may be a challenge for you. It's your time. Remember, I just said you had declared and said, this year is going to be the year. I ain't putting it off no more. And that is the challenge. You're like, now gotta be the time. Not now has to be the time. I cannot continue to put this dream, this goal, this thing on the shelf or to the side for the sake of having to always support someone or something else, right? You are declaring that you have all the power inside of you, Sag, to make this thing so. And refresh, recharge, being here, that may be a challenge for you closing out 2026 to find the time to do it. but you are going to need to, because it looks like rinse and repeat is going to be a continued theme, like marching towards your goal as well as maybe supporting this other situation. Refresh and recharge. Do that again. You're going to have to break it up into pieces, it seems, because you're going to be juggling quite a bit between your own self elected goals, accomplishments, values, whatever the case may be. You know what it is, Sag. You know what this thing is, whether it be to change a habit that you have. Maybe you wanted to quit smoking and you don't have the support for that. You are around people that constantly smoke, and it just is harder than you thought. You're not getting the momentum and the push and all of what you envision this thing would be, as far as laying out the plan itself to get it over the finish line. And sometimes perspective will help you manage and maneuver these type of challenges better than you can anticipate. But perspective will also be seen as a challenge for you. And I'm really picking up on the perspective of others to you, Sag, and how they may feel like you're being selfish when you shouldn't, or you're breaking away from the pack when you shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And it might be some chatter around that, and people trying to guilt you into looking at this from their perspective. Yeah. Again, you could be very torn between choosing the collective or someone who, like I said, you're responsible for in one way or another, or yourself. And I'm really picking up on like I said, a Sag collective who is really going to attempt to do both, because the loyalty bone in you is strong, is thick, is unbreakable. So whatever this situation is tied to, there's a sense of loyalty and respect and honor that you have towards the situation, Sag, that despite the level of selfishness you need to deploy or insert, you just can't help it, because you're loyal. Your loyalty is a gift and a curse to some degree for the year of 2026 and the challenges that you may encounter. So that is what it's looking like for your challenges, Sag. Just come back, take a look at this reading throughout the quarters and months of 2026. Drop a comment, let me know how it's unfolding. But now that you are aware, you can better prepare. That is your message. I hope that it helps. And until next time, peace.